welcome back to This Is a Rewind. I am David Hensley, the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I am here to introduce your hosts, David Two Dogs Hayes and Shelby Death Ray Patterson.
Thank you very much, David Hensley, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to This Is a Rewind, a look back at what wrestling used to be and possibly still should be. That's not going to be the case today.
No, it's not. It's a little bit different today.
So before we get started, guys, we want to welcome David Hensley. This is the first time that he has been in studio with us.
And we got that awesome, iconic Long Walk intro.
Yeah.
Right? So this is big for us.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
Well,
we've made it.
I agreed to produce this show.
You make it sound like it was like we were pulling your teeth.
No. I'm lucky.
We got David Hensley, Shelby.
I know, it's such a get.
Well, I'm lucky that at this point in our podcasting careers, I've got people like Kara who can run the board in my absence.
What a blessing. Yeah.
But I agreed to produce the show for the two of you and host it, and then immediately afterwards got cast in a show.
Yeah, how dare you go be talented somewhere?
Thank you.
You know?
So 2.5 months later, I'm finally back.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Always happy to hear your interjections all the time.
My unsolicited hot takes.
It's only unsolicited on our show. On This Is a Takeover. I feel like he's like a third member of your group.
Pretty much.
This Is a Work, and then for This Is a Takeover, he'll just come in and try to throw us off all the time.
Yeah.
It works. Majority of the time, it works.
I do what I can.
You did.
So, and speaking of Mr. Hensley, he has informed me that you had something that you wanted to talk about right off the bat.
Oh, did I?
And I understand. I get it. It's big news right now. You obviously want to talk about the passing of Queen Elizabeth.
Oh my God.
I understand, but this is a wrestling podcast.
I mean, it's the only media I've been able to consume, for the past how many hours is.
Yeah.
Because she literally just passed away.
Yeah.
But
I want to interject here because it sounds like Doggz is trying to throw me under the bus.
he's trying to bait you. I can hear it. Yeah.
After recording last night, we were hanging out, and we were, of course, talking about Punk.
Oh, no, you wanted to talk about wrestling.
And
yes, on our wrestling show, we would like to talk about wrestling. Yeah.
Okay, well, then we're going to talk about the big thing then. When D'Lo Brown has left Impact.
Oh, my God.
I know we're all upset about it, but we don't cover Impact, Shelby.
No, I want to talk about David's comment at the end when he was trying to close our show out last night.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I thank you for ruining that. I was going to do it at the end of this one, but
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You can still
I stick to my script when I'm doing the outro for these shows, which doesn't leave me a lot of room for like improv on the fly. But I really wanted to interject something in there like, thank you for listening to Long Walk Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, blah, 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 visit us online at cmpunkdidnothingwrong.com. Leave us a rating and a
No, I thought it was so funny because he did it at the very end, right? And I couldn't argue with him. And I'm like, oh, you better be glad that I'm coming back tomorrow.
Well, my point was, after the show last night, me and Doggz were talking, and he was like, you know what, I don't even really want to talk about Punk on the show anymore. And I was like, well, you're going to want to talk to Shelby about that because she still does.
No, it's just, okay, I won't talk about it for long.
No, that's okay.
It has literally been on my mind ever since it happened.
Honestly, all everybody's talking about.
Yeah, and I feel like now, because today is Thursday the 9th, right?
Right.
Or the 8th. And this happened on Sunday of All Out, right? And this is all...
Technically Monday morning.
Right, technically. But it's all anyone's been able to talk about. But now that we have seen Dynamite and we now know what has happened now with all of the suspensions, everyone keeps going back and forth, like, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Like, is it real? Is it not? I just don't see how it can't be real. Like, or at least some of it has to be real. Like, there has to have been something that would have caused Tony Khan to be like, you know what? Half my roster, bye-bye.
Never has the country been so divided. I can't think of a single time
Me either.
that the country has been so divided
Me
other than this week in wrestling.
No, I think because of that is why I'm obsessed with it, right?
Right.
That it has brought everybody together, but it's also torn people apart too.
Yeah.
Because
Me and Barnes haven't spoke to each other since we did the podcast.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Like, I heard what you guys were talking about on your show for This Is a Work. Like, Jesus, it got heated.
Barnes is a man of passion, and yeah, and you know when we get on a subject that's passionate that he feels strongly about, yeah, he gets heated, and I love that about him.
What I would love to do if you were up to it,
Okay.
in like a month or two from now,
Okay.
I want to do a show where we just talk about the fallout from this. And just
I think we're going to
'cause,
have to.
I mean, more shit's going to come out, right? And
Yeah.
more stuff's going to happen. And and even if it's not, then we can talk about how this was completely irrelevant. And if it was a work, then we can talk about how bad it was.
But you know, this is the interesting thing. As I said, I was talking to Hensley last night, and Hensley is still under the or at least unless something has changed.
Shakes his head no.
That's
No, in fact, the longer that we talk about it and the more information that comes out, the more convinced I am that this is all a work.
yeah.
I don't think, maybe like Shelby said, there are aspects of this that are real, but the fact that, as you pointed out, Shelby, the fact that it is Thursday, it's been 5 days now, and nobody in that locker room has pressed charges.
Right.
Nobody has been arrested.
That we're aware of at this point.
We would know.
Yeah,
I
we
feel like
would.
with
Yeah.
everything that's coming out, combine that with the fact that everyone is in agreement. This AEW pay-per-view was mid at best.
Agreed.
People keep saying, well, what the audience should be talking about is the wrestling, is the matches, is the performers. What is there to talk about?
Right.
Yeah.
None of these matches.
All of the matches were 10 to 15 minutes long with no meat on the bones.
Right.
If that. If 10, 15 minutes.
There was
Yeah.
no Darby Allin and a skateboard full of thumbtacks. There were no plates full of chicken biscuits. There
Yeah.
were
Oh
no
my God.
exploding ring posts, quote unquote.
Right.
This didn't have anything flashy, nor did it have like any overtly great matches. But people are talking about it.
Yes, they are.
And adding on to that, what has every wrestling fan been talking about for the last 2 months?
Oh, CM Punk.
No, Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince. Yeah, no,
that's
you're
true.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 months. That's all wrestling fans could talk about. It's WWE and Vince McMahon and the change in power.
Yeah.
No one's talking about that right now.
Well, if that is the case, if this is 100% of work and they've made this up because they knew their card was going to be shit, then I kind of have to agree with Barnes. I think it's kind of shitty. Like
I do.
I don't
if
agree
it
with
is-
it at all.
Yeah,
But
because you buried half your roster.
yeah.
I mean, they got it back this Wednesday.
Yeah, but at the same
But at what cost?
No, there's going to be a lot more that is going to come out
Yeah.
from all this. I just feel like I didn't want to get into like a huge debate about this.
No,
I
no,
just
no.
wanted to bring it up because it's all I've been able to think about.
Absolutely. No, I get it. And
I can just feel it. I can feel the feel the tension.
No. There's no tension here. There's no
Okay.
tension. Me and Hensley, we agree to disagree because, like I was telling Hensley the other night, 9 times out of 10, I would agree with you. And you know what? The thing about it is, I'm still in the middle because I was almost all the way over on This Is a Shoot side, and then today I heard nothing but other wrestlers going, Boy, that CM Punk, he's a heat magnet, man. He's, you know what he's doing? He's drawing in that heat, and everybody's talking about AEW and what's going to happen. And boy, let me tell you, howdy, that's.
Are all of them like backwoods wrestlers?
All of them are Boomhauer.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, Monday night when we recorded This Is a Work, like at that point when you and Chris were discussing it, was like, yeah, the Young Bucks and CM Punk got into a fist fight backstage. Like that's what people were saying. Well, immediately after that, Chris gets on Twitter, like once we're off the air, and he's like, wow, they're saying that a chair got thrown and somebody got bit. And that's when I realized this is just becoming a game of telephone.
Yeah, there's a few different renditions of the story at this point. One from Punk's perspective, one from the Bucks' perspective. There's from Punk's perspective, they kicked down the door and started fighting.
Right.
From the Bucks' perspective,
I didn't hear that
they knocked
part
on the
until
door
today.
and they came in, and then Punk started swinging like it.
And somebody took
Yeah.
his dog hostage.
Yeah, Kenny Omega apparently saved the dog from the locker room.
One of the Young Bucks pulled out a hand grenade and
No,
pulled
stop.
the pin and was just
Stop.
waving it in the air.
No, Dutch Mantel said
No,
that.
we're
That's
going to contribute to the misinformation.
Why not?
After he threw a chair, that guy, whatever, Steele, pulled out a machete.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the
No, the machete is
I
what
know,
CM
I
Punk was
know.
using to shave his butt after the.
That's right.
That's where that came in.
Yeah, and the dog was holding it in his mouth
Oh,
while
that's
Right,
so
yeah.
nice. So nice of him.
You got a well-trained animal. I mean, in CM Punk, but
Regardless, I think that it's going to be very interesting going forward in what happens with all of this, right? Because if we find out that it is a shoot and all of this is real, then that's kind of fucked up. And if it's a work, then it's also kind of fucked up. So I don't know. I just think it's really interesting, and I do hate that it happened because we had a good show in Clash at the Castle.
we had a
And
fantastic show.
Nobody's talking about that show
Nobody is talking
at all.
about
And so that's why we're here to talk about it.
I'm going to say one more thing about Tony Khan.
That was such a good segue, Doggz.
Yeah.
I tried my best.
Shelby,
You did,
He's
you
going to
did.
say 5 more things, and then that'll be it.
Okay, fine.
After he has said those 10 things, you guys can start.
I'm not doing the segue again. You do it.
No. It was nice, but I'm not done now.
Of course not.
Something that we just kind of breezed by during the media scrum, which I hate that word.
I know you do, but why are you so hooked on it? It's just a word.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fine.
But during that, something we just kind of glossed over. Apparently, everybody glossed over the fact that we didn't really notice Tony Khan kind of go nuts there for a few minutes.
What, when he was just sitting there?
He started talking about how WWE was trying to sabotage All Out by putting 2 other pay-per-views around his show.
Okay. So what he was saying was that last year's All Out, because someone asked him from the journalist in the crowd, they asked, how are the numbers? Like, how was this pay-per-view selling? And that's kind of what started the whole thing. He said last year we were the only pay-per-view on Labor Day weekend. Now we were the 3rd pay-per-view on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
So he said that may affect. But he implied that
they did it
that
on
it
purpose.
wasn't like that last year, and now all of a sudden it is. So I don't think he outright said WWE is trying to sabotage, but he heavily implied that.
He compared
he had
himself to Jim Crockett Promotions.
He did. That was a little bit too far. But Tony Khan does do that, though.
This
Like,
fucking nut bar.
It's
yeah.
almost like he knew he was outnumbered 2-1, and no one would be talking about his show for the next few weeks.
Oh, it's coming full circle.
We need to move on. I regret bringing this up.
But you know, we did have a WWE pay-per-view that usually you guys would cover.
Yeah, so Gina and I would usually take this one if it was a normal schedule.
Right.
But since everyone decided to do multiple pay-per-views this weekend or this past weekend, we tried to divvy it up, and we got Clash at the Castle.
Right. So we're carrying our weight, and
me and you are double dipping, and it's fine.
So, well, let's just start at the top here. We're going to start things off with Damage Control versus Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and Asuka. Damage Control being the new name for Bailey, Io Sky. I'm fighting wanting to call her Shirai.
Me too. To me, it's easier to say, but
and Dakota Kai.
Yeah. Which I guess they were trying to be like, oh, Sky and Kai rhyme. So they were trying to, I don't know. Io Shirai is just such a cool name. I don't see why we needed to change it. But I think it was, we can't pronounce Shirai. So that's why we named her Sky. But
see, I'm gonna call this like maybe this was McMahon's final thing that he was going to bring Shirai back, and he's going to change her name, and as this is his last thing that he wanted to do, so we're going to give him this bone.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is all speculation. I'm just guessing.
Well, I do know that Io pretty much had one foot out the door.
Pretty much.
She was just waiting and biding her time for her contract to expire because she was on her way back to Japan.
Yes.
Is what I heard. That's why it was such a surprise when she did show up at SummerSlam with Dakota Kai, who had also been released for a few months. But yeah.
Well, let's start with you. What did you think of this match?
I mean, I enjoyed this match. I'm really happy to have Bailey back. I feel like Bailey is needed in that women's division right now.
Yes.
And I do think now that Vince is gone, I feel like Hunter knows how to book a women's division a lot better.
Yeah,
like he
100%.
knows, I mean, just NXT, aside, I just feel like anything that he has associated with they've turned into champions, right? So like Bailey,
and
Sasha,
if not,
Charlotte,
they're credible.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I feel like from what I remember, it was kind of a little bit wonky in the beginning, but
it settled down very quickly.
Well, they were the first match of the night, and I think they were kind of jittery, kind of nervous, but I think once they got into a groove, I really enjoyed it.
And again, I'm so glad Bailey's back.
Yeah.
Just having her as a ring general out there, and make no bones about it, if you watched that match, you knew who the ring general was.
And really, we had this match to set up her feud with Bianca.
Yeah.
And because I did think it was a little weird because on the Raw prior, they crowned new women's tag champs.
Right.
And it was not Kai and Sky. And that kind of surprised me.
I was surprised too.
Yeah, I mean, they lost very definitively in that match to Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Right? Who?
It's a strange pairing, but it's kind of working for me.
No, it is, and I think it in the long run it is the right decision, right? But the timing of it, I felt was really weird because you had Kai and Sky who were setting up the next week to have this big pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
And you have them lose very decisively in a finals of a tournament.
Right.
So their momentum is kind of squashed a little bit. So that was kind of a weird thing going into this one, but I think they kind of battled through that momentum shift.
The best thing for me about this match, they didn't even really get started before they started the Hey Bailey chant.
That warms my heart.
Doesn't it though?
British crowds just know They know so many more better chants than we do here. Like, they remember stuff, because that was something back when Bailey was in NXT, like a long time ago, and when she was a baby face, like the babiest of faces, right? And so she would sing along with them, and it would be so much fun. And she was trying so hard not to.
You could tell, she had a little 3/4 grin on her face there for a minute, and had to swallow it. And then after that, when they started playing along with her, she tags out. And then every time they tagged her in, the crowd started, and she would immediately tag out. She was having none of it.
And that's good heel work.
That is good heel work.
Yeah. No,
that's how you do it.
She's learning, and she's gotten a lot better. I think when she first turned heel, it was real rough.
It was rough. She didn't. I mean, but first time doing something like that, especially once you take the chains off. That's what I've always called it. Like, when you start out as a face, you've got shackles on you, because you can only do certain things. There's just certain things a face shouldn't do.
Right.
When you go heel, those shackles drop.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think she's fantastic.
I'm happy to see that they're putting her with Bianca and not just waiting for Sasha to come back. Because I feel like they've done the Sasha Bailey feud. They're friends. They're not friends. They're, a bunch.
Right.
And I know that that's the rumor, that Sasha and Naomi are coming back, or they've signed contracts or whatever. But I'm glad that it's her and Bianca, because that's fresh and we haven't seen that, and I think that's gonna be really good.
So now with this one, the finish on this, which was really good, I thought. Bailey ends up hooking the hair of Bianca,
which they don't use enough, in my opinion.
They don't.
It's right there. It's a weapon that's like hanging off of her body.
Right. She hooks her hair, pulls her, drops down to the apron. Kai hits her with the corner kick. And then Bailey hits I keep wanting to call it a rosebud, but it's not a rosebud. What does she call it?
I don't know.
I'm just going to call it a rosebud. It's a rose plant. Whatever.
Rose plant.
It's a DDT is what it is.
Okay, cool. I know what that is.
And then Sky comes off immediately, hits the moonsault. Bailey back in. It was women's division. AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, everybody take note. Did you see how fluid that it was? Bam, 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 bam. That's how you do it. It's fantastic win. It was, a clean win for the most part.
Except the hair tying part.
Right. That's. I love the match. I gave it 3.5.
Nice.
What are we gonna?
We can call it Meltzer's. That's fine.
Since this is a rewind,
we've never reviewed a show.
We never actually figured this out.
We didn't think this would ever happen.
Well, you know what? How about we just call it a Hogan for today?
You could have said any other name besides Hogan.
Well, I'm not calling it a Goldberg. I'll tell you that much.
Just call it. Just say a 3.5, and if we ever do this again, we'll figure it out beforehand.
We'll call
3.5 punks.
Ooh, we'll call it 3.5 cabanas.
Yes, we're calling it 3.5 cabanas. Perfect.
There we go. Let's. The poor kid, he's been raked through the coals. Let's throw him a bone.
He's been through so much.
Okay, so moving into our next match, Sheamus versus Gunther.
Oh my gosh! Like this match was my match of the year, I think.
I only have 2 words written down for notes on this. Goddamn fight.
Yeah. Like it was, I can't even describe how anything went in this match. just because I think my hands were over my eyes for the majority of the time. Because the chops that they did, the kicks, the punch, like everything hit.
They beat the shit out of each other. And now this is something, this is the difference between, these two having a fight and what happened on All Out with Eddie Kingston and Tenoshi. Did I say that right?
I honestly can't remember. There were 15 matches on that card.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, I see what you're saying because you had that stark contrast between the two. So you had Gunter and Sheamus, and then that match. It seems like it's a very similar style of match.
Yeah.
But I
Could
think
have been more different.
No, I agree 100% because I feel like the Gunter Sheamus match had not just had more heart to it, but you legit thought that one of them was going to pass out.
Yeah.
Just from the chops, like not from any moves or anything, like just passing out from the pain.
Yeah. And I was struggling looking for words when we were reviewing this for This Is a Work. And just talking about this, I found them. With All Out and Eddie Kingston's match, amateur. Sheamus, professional. That's the difference right there. They're indie, these are pros. That's the difference. I know I'm not saying there's anything wrong with indies.
No, you're not saying that, but it's a different level.
It's unpolished versus polished.
And I am just so happy that Gunter is able to do these type of matches now because before, when he was Walter, like the guy was the longest reigning champion in WWE history, over 800 days as UK champion.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that. But he defended it.
Because it's UK.
I know, exactly, and that's what sucks. But he actually defended the title for 800 days. Like, it wasn't like they just forgot about him for that amount of time. Like, he was actively defending it, and his matches were as hard-hitting as that Sheamus match was. Every single time. Like, there were two matches with him and Ilya Dragunov, but the last one in particular was almost as brutal as that one. Now, that one is probably my real match of the year, but I think the match of the pay-per-view for me was definitely this one.
Yeah. Now, Gunter retains on this one.
Which, honestly, I didn't really care who won this one.
Oh, I won this one.
Yes, the audience won this match for sure.
And my God, what would you have rated this?
I would have rated it probably like a 4.5.
Fantastic.
Yeah?
That's exactly what I have.
Yes.
Yeah, we are syncing.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I love
it. Well done. Okay, moving into our next one. We're at the halfway point already.
I love that. I love
How
that
about
we're not doing like 4 or 5 hour pay-per-views with WWE anymore.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We got 6 matches to cover. And as I said before, there was no fat on this steak. Every single match mattered. Usually, back, 5 months ago, you could have said, this pay-per-view was okay. There's a lot of these matches. We could have just done this on Raw.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Yeah, I feel like there's a clear difference. Because with SummerSlam was already booked when Vince walked away, right? Like, there really wasn't much that Hunter and the rest of creative could do to change it at this point, right?
Well, you could have, but there's a lazy curve there. And don't get me wrong, I experienced something very similar when I was booking, when I was transitioning from one booker to another.
Right.
the former booker had already booked the match, and so we're like, okay, we're gonna roll with this, and this is how we're gonna fix the issues that are outlying next week.
Right. And I feel like this pay-per-view was the fix to that.
100%.
Right.
Boy,
it felt like night and day, the two pay-per-views to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, and you only have 6 matches to sit through, so you can really devote time to each one. That was the thing that we talked about last night with Worlds Collide. You had 5 matches. Each one was at least 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
The main event was 25 minutes, right?
Yeah, and again, no fat on this bone, man. I mean, it's good stuff. It's now, this is, look, I don't want anybody to get mad at me about this, but I don't think they will, because I don't think anybody cares about what we're talking about at this point. They're still worried about Punk.
Oh, sure.
But so I can kind of get away with saying this. Baszler versus Morgan. Okay.
Yeah.
This got the lowest rating
Yeah.
for me. Now, the reason it's not that it was a bad match, but I think these other matches were so much better that they got overshadowed a little bit, and well, they got left by the wayside on this one.
Yeah, and
this was the popcorn match.
Yeah, I can agree 100%. And I feel like the lead up to this really was kind of non-existent. And I feel like we're just waiting for Ronda to come back.
Yeah.
So that way she can have her rematch with Ronda. Because there was not a clean finish when she beat her, right? So I am glad that we have Shayna back to, where she was before, because you have she's with someone now that knows what to do with her character. And I mean, I just wish that maybe she wasn't her first opponent.
Yeah, because let's just look. We all love Liv, and we love our underdogs and everything, but let's just call this what it is. Baylor should have walked out the women's champion.
Oh,
100%,
100%. And I feel like there's only so many times that your champion can go into a defense being the underdog.
Yeah.
Right? Like she has to build up some momentum and be more dominant, so that way she's not always seen as the underdog.
Yeah, 100%,
right?
yeah.
I think it's great that she's champion. I think it's great that there's someone different holding the belt. I just think that they need to make her matches, I don't know, make her come across as more dominant than she is right now.
She's going to have to.
Because right now all of her stuff is just like, okay, I won via a fluke, or like it was sneaky and I came out, and that's fine like a time or two, but if it's every single time, it's not really going to be fun to watch
unless you're going heel. And
I mean, they're kind of already booing her already.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well lean into it.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be honest. I really thought she was going to turn heel this pay-per-view, but I
mean, she needs to but the thing about it is she can't go heel by herself because she already looks too weak.
I know.
So we got to put a stable around her.
Yeah, well, they got rid of her stable.
Yes, they did.
I'm just saying, she was doing great with the Riot Squad, and then they got rid of it, and now this is the first time that she has been able to get any sort of traction since Ruby and Sarah were let go.
Now, I think Ruby's pretty happy.
Oh, she's doing fine.
But Sarah Logan, what do you think? I know she had a kid several months ago.
Almost a year at this point.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you think?
I heard a rumor that she was an extra for the Viking Raiders for something that they did on Raw.
Is that right?
Someone caught a glimpse, and it was the back of her, and they had covered her face.
Yeah.
And they kind of they're like, oh, it's Sarah Logan, they're bringing her back or whatever. I don't know if that's 100% accurate or certain, but I don't think it would be out of the question, but I'm going to be honest with you. Ruby was kind of the strongest one out of that group.
Was.
And that's not to say that Sarah and Liv couldn't be strong together.
Yeah.
But I don't
You
know
need
if it would be the
somebody
same. You
to
can't
fill in that Ruby Riot
you
spot.
can't be the Riot Squad without Ruby Riot.
Truth.
So I think they would, if they were to bring her back, they would have to come up with something different.
Yeah. Who would you put there? It's you obviously can't put Ruby there, but who's available right now that we could?
If we drop the whole dewdrop gimmick,
I was afraid you were going to say this.
I'm just.
I thought about it.
She, to me, if we go back to Piper Niven, she has the same kind of like feel that the Riot Squad had.
Right?
Change her name to Patty Protest.
Oh my God. Why?
Piper Protest. There we go.
Why?
It's not a riot. It's a protest.
Oh my gosh.
They're the protest squad.
That's a totally different feel from a Riot Squad, like being a protest.
Well, some would argue not.
Well, that's a whole different thing. Oh, gosh. But yeah, I mean, she was the first one that came to mind. I mean, her and Nikki are in a tag team right now. Mm-hmm. You merge them with,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
you
Liv.
could do a four woman stable on this. That's a possibility.
But I do agree with you. I feel like Liv needs something else to elevate her, because just
And it's
putting the
not-
belt on her hasn't really been working.
No, and I'm upset about it because I've always been an ally for
Oh,
Liv.
you're a huge Liv stan.
I am.
Right?
Absolutely.
Which I think we all are in this
Yeah,
house. But
yeah.
like, I
Live your best life. That's how I roll. That's-
what is her thing? You only live once.
Yeah.
That's her tagline.
Doggz has that tattooed on his lower back.
I
Oh
do.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. Tramp stamp. It's
But I am disappointed in this match just because
too.
I was excited to see Baszler again. Like, I really missed how she was totally different than the rest of the women's division. And her and Becky's feud was pretty okay. And then they just kind of dropped her off, and she just is kind of
Yeah.
floating between different tag teams.
And so it is with much regret for me that. What do you think I rated this?
A 2.
No.
Lower?
Lower. I went lower.
1.5?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was very disappointed at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't. We had so much wrestling, I didn't get a chance to go back and watch it.
I understand, me either. But yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move into something a little bit better. Well, actually, a lot better, because we have Rey Mysterio and Edge versus Judgment Day.
Now, I was so happy about the end of this match. I really could give two shits about what actually happened, because it was a good match. But they finally had Dominic turn on Rey, which they've been teasing for like what feels like a year.
You know, I've always been a fan of Dominic's.
Have
I
you?
have. I feel like this was the right move for him.
Interesting.
I love his hair.
Oh yeah.
I think he's sharp. His moves are sharp as a tack.
That's-
and I think Ray's holding him back.
Oh wow. Okay, that's like totally different from what you've said before.
What?
But yeah, it's cool.
I think
we
you're
all grow.
confusing-
We all change.
I think
you
you're
know?
confusing me with Barnes.
Oh
But,
yeah,
that sounds like
I do
something
that a
Barnes
lot.
would
I'm
say.
sorry. I always get you guys confused. But no, I think that this is going to be really interesting, because from what I've seen on Raw, he is now like officially in Judgment Day.
Yes.
And he's gone goth,
Yes, he has.
which is hilarious. But I think this match itself was really fun.
This was so much fun.
Yeah.
What we had here was an old school tag team match.
Yeah.
With like, and I know all the bookers nowadays will tell you, oh, the 5 rules of death that's wrestling death, you know. And well, they used the 5 rules in this match. And honestly, it was a fantastic match.
Yeah, it was good.
And the fight, the face gets popped, the heel gets his heat, the faults come back, the triumphant comeback, and then the go home. And
yeah, I enjoyed the match, and I enjoyed the interference that happened around the ring. It wasn't too distracting, but it was like enough that it kept you interested, and it reminded you that there was other people outside the ring. Because I feel sometimes when you have like a valet or you have like an extra member that's just kind of standing out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes if they don't know what they're doing, they just kind of stand there and it looks like they don't know what they're doing.
the Miss Elizabeth syndrome.
Right, like you're like, okay, the guy just rolled out under the ropes right at you, and you just stare at them.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, come on.
Just keep clapping.
Right, exactly. So I think, Rhea and Dominic both did enough on the outside to contribute to what happened at the end, and it made sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm always going to be happy to see Finn Balor doing anything.
And it's just kind of fun because now with Dominic and Ray being a thing.
They're heavily implying it.
Yeah.
There's a really big majority on the internet that is
They're calling them Latino Heat.
really obsessed with them, and to a point where I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, but also like, y'all just need to like calm it down like just a little bit.
Well, here's something. I don't know if you know this or not. If you don't know this is going to bake your noodle.
Oh no. Okay.
Rhea and Dom are only like a year apart.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
You don't look at Rhea and say, that's a kid right there. No,
Yeah,
you look
and
at
she,
it, that's a woman.
She's like 25, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Dominic's like 24.
That I can see. But even so, like, they both do look a lot older than that. But I think it's because maybe they're in stables with people who are all like way older than them. So it kind of
I think what it is for
balances it out.
me is I watched Dominic grow up. I watched him as a tiny baby.
That's true.
And also, being around Edge is going to make you look 20 years younger anyway.
That's a good.
I will say, in this match in particular, the scary eyes were to a minimum.
Yeah.
We didn't have the crazy, like, I'm not going to blink for 5 minutes eyes. He I think he's calmed that down just a little bit.
Right.
What was it? The money plane eyes.
Oh, the money plane eyes. Yes. I love this match. In fact, I loved it so much, I gave it 5 Meltzers.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
I would not have said 5, but yeah.
The match itself, again, there was no fat on this.
Yeah.
There was not an ounce of fat on it. Everything mattered. Every move was calculated. It was fantastic. And then the heel turn at the end, chef's kiss.
That we've been waiting for God knows how long.
Yeah, and that's the beauty.
Yeah.
I have said it 100 times. I will say it again. Long-term booking works.
Yeah. When was the last time that you've given a WWE match a 5?
Oh God, have I given a 5 this year?
I don't think so.
I don't think I have either.
I don't think you have. That's why I was really surprised.
I don't think you have ever.
No, I've given 5s out. Yeah.
I know I've given 5s out, but that's
I know.
Yeah.
I know Shelby has. I can't recall in the last 4 years you ever giving something a 5.
I have for certain tag team matches. I usually, except for the past 2 years, I usually give the Rumble, the Royal Rumble match itself a 5. I haven't for the past 2 years.
I was about to say, yeah.
Because
you got a grade on the COVID scale.
yeah,
Right,
it's hard to fuck up a Rumble, but boy, the past couple years
They've tried.
They worked hard.
But great. I love it.
Now we're going to move on to our semi-main event. We have, I'm not saying the middle part because I'm tired of that. Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle.
You don't like saying freaking all the time?
I don't. It's
not necessary.
It's silly.
Yeah, everybody is getting their names back. He needs to take that one out.
Yeah, that's the one I want gone.
Because we have Matt Riddle now.
Yes.
Not just Riddle anymore. We also have Tommaso Ciampa.
How about that?
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And
when Big E comes back, he's going to be Big E Langston.
If only.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
If anything, just to make that man happy.
We're
after
still,
everything he's been through.
We're still going to call him just Big E.
That's fine. He'll always be Big E Langston to us, though. But I think I just totally had a brain fart.
That's
Everything
okay.
just literally went out of my
Seth
head.
Rollins and
Yeah, there we
Matt
go. Sorry.
There's
Guys, there's been a
semi-main
lot to cover
event.
over the past 3
No,
days.
I get it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this match?
So I really enjoyed the build to this. I thought that this build was insane because going back to, is it a shoot? Is it a work? Like, they actually do hate each other in real life off of actual heat that has, I think Matt said something about Becky and Seth said some stuff. Like, it's been a whole back and forth thing for a while.
And I think their heat started back several years ago.
Well, they refused
something about them being in a restaurant together.
Something like that. But it's been years that they have refused to work together.
Right.
And so now I guess they're okay enough with each other at this point. But this is the most, passion I think I have seen Riddle put forth on anything, even in NXT, because he's always had the stoner kind of lackadaisical kind of feel. Like, I'm here because I just want to, flip and, kick some dudes with my feet and,
This kick some dudes with my feet.
I mean, that's what everyone comes to this show to listen, is your technicality and my just he just kicks him with his feet.
Yeah. As opposed to kicking him with his hands.
I mean, I guess those would be called chops, but okay. But yeah, no, I felt like he had an intensity that he has not had before, and I think that is built off of the actual hatred that they have for each other. And they had these series of interviews with each other and
so
parking
good.
lot brawls with one another that one of them looked like it was captured from a security camera, which that was really good.
Well, the interview they had, the simulcast interview.
Oh, God, and then they turned the cameras off.
And they was like, and we're clear, and we know what we're watching, but that's okay. It's fine.
It's fun to get worked up in it sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, did he really say that?
Yeah,
it's good. It's fun.
Yeah. And this is good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good. And what we had in this match, we had 2 top level gimmicks and I say top level gimmicks because I've been very vocal about how I hate the Matt Riddle gimmick.
You do.
I don't hate Matt Riddle. I hate the gimmick. Mm-hmm. We got the Matt Riddle that I wanted the other night, and it was fantastic. We have 2 top-level gimmicks with top-level superstars performing in front of a hot crowd at the most professional level that you could get to. I don't know what else you want in wrestling than what they gave us for a semi-main event. Holy dog shit. That was incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree 100%. It was a thrill to watch because, again, you forgot that you were watching wrestling.
Yeah.
You forgot that, there was a storyline behind this. Like, you just wanted to see 2 guys beat the shit out of each other. And listeners, if you've listened to our show, This Is a Takeover, that is a huge deal to me.
100%.
Like,
100%.
I love to get wrapped up in it and just watch 2 people beat the shit out of each other. Like, that, to me, why else would you watch wrestling?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just, you're watching people who kind of can act pretty well on a good day kind of slap each other around, and it's
Right.
silly, right? Like, otherwise if you don't let yourself get wrapped up in it, then that's what you end up watching, right? But then you have
100%.
matches like this where you're just like, I don't care who wins. I actually don't even care if both of them walk out of here right now. I just
Yeah.
want to keep watching this.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think I gave this match?
I mean, if you gave the tag match a 5, I was thinking you would give this a 5 as well.
Well, Shelby,
Yeah.
you would be right.
Oh, we have 2 5s in a pay-per-view.
Yes.
Wow. This is truly historic. ladies
It
and
is.
gentlemen. Wow.
I think the last time that I did 2 5s in a row was in AEW.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done 2 5s for
For-
a WWE
no.
event.
Definitely not. I mean, that is definitely well earned for sure. Because
100%.
I mean, like you said, you can't really get much better than that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, it should have been our main
It
event.
should have ended right there.
It should
Yeah.
if we would have stopped right there. Man, what a night.
You know, I actually convinced myself that he was going to drop the belt. I did. You can laugh at me, David. I don't care. I actually legitimately went into this thinking that it could be a possibility. And I don't know why. I don't know why I went in thinking like, oh, it's Drew, and we're over in England, and he's from Scotland, which is kind of close to that. So they're thinking that maybe he's like the hometown guy. So they're gonna give it to him. No, like it's just I'm so tired of it.
What did I tell you on Takeover last night?
I know, David. I don't learn from my mistakes, okay?
Hope is a mistake.
I know, and I don't learn from it.
I got that tattooed on my neck right under
That's-
the American flag.
Oh, sure.
That would be David Hensley, care of Long Walk Podcast.
Oh my gosh. No, but seriously though, like I'm so, and it has taken me a while. I know you guys were already there way before I was, but it's so tiring to like get so into it and be like, oh my God, this is actually going to happen. Like this, because there were moments in this match that they really tricked you into thinking
Where
that
you
was going to happen.
started to believe. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I didn't believe.
Yeah, but I think it's because all of y'all are like completely, there's no hope in this anymore. This is we're doomed to repeat ourselves forever
No.
and ever. Amen.
No.
Like this is how our lives are going to be.
No, that's Hensley and Barnes. That's not me. I know what we're doing. We can't put the title on McIntyre right now because we're saving that title for Cody.
I don't like that.
I don't care.
I just don't.
And the WWE doesn't care either.
I know they don't, but they listen. Someone up down there listens. You know, they'll hear me and they'll understand. I don't like that.
It's because Roman has to get his comeuppance, and he has to get them from a competitor with a solid reason, more than I want my title back. It's got to be more than this is my island. It's got to be more than you talked bad about my wife. It's got to be the legacy. It's got to be my dad never got that title and he deserved it. I mean, just saying it, do you not get, hearing that, do you not get chills?
Yeah, I do. I can't explain why I don't like Cody. I just don't.
See, I think I know why Cody left now.
I get it. I understand it. But
Blatantly obvious to me now. I think he couldn't take the Bucks anymore.
sure, but
And-
I don't know. I just there's a lot to unpack there
Yeah,
with
there
that.
really is.
And I just feel, not that I don't think Cody is the one to do it. It's obvious that that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate that I can see what they're doing.
Well, and I think everything that you just described, Doggz, is going to be emotionally satisfying and is going to end up being a good payoff to this 2 years of insanity that we've had.
Yes.
2 years from now, after Cody goes up against Reigns for the first time and then loses, and then 6 months later he goes up against him again and loses, and we've continued Reigns' streak as long as humanly possible, and then Cody's finally going to go over once he owns like a 51% stake in the WWE.
No, he's absolutely right, and I think that's the part that is.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that's out of the...
Wait, did you just say I'm right?
Shit.
Oh, you did.
I'm going to pull that for the...
No, don't pull it. Don't write it down.
Can we put a brass...
55 minutes and 20 seconds into the episode, Shelby said he's right.
We need to get a brass band to start playing
Shit.
when you pull that soundbite.
What he's going to do now is he's going to isolate that, and every time that I start to argue with him, it's going to be on his phone, and he's going to put it up to me and have me
Set it as
sing.
your ringtone.
Yes. Every time I call you or text you, it's going to be, he's right. He's right. Damn it. But I just don't like that we had to wait this long for that payoff, right? Like, is it going to be as great of a payoff as they're building up to it?
Well, goddamn, it better be.
That's what I mean. Like, how can we guarantee that it's like, because I don't
Well, you
remember
can't guarantee anything in wrestling.
I
That's
know
the
that,
problem.
but I'm just saying I don't remember much about this match, even though I know it was a good match. Because there were lots of false finishes and lots of times that I definitely jumped up because I thought it had happened, especially with the ending.
Yeah, I thought this was one of Roman's better matches.
Because he gets put with people that can help him do that.
Not only that, when the crowd's hot like they were.
Sure.
And see, you notice, I spoke to Hensley and Barnes about this. You notice he didn't change anything.
No.
He still walked around. He said his monologues.
Well, no, they were thankfully absent this time. He said 2 words, and they were acknowledge me. And I was so happy that we did not get any monologues or tears after that.
When he grabbed the mic, I think all of us were
yeah,
like,
we did. Kinda. I was like, get the hell out of here.
Oh, I tuned out. Like, I couldn't tell you anything about this match. As soon as he got the mic, I was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do feel like the finish on this did come out of nowhere and was a surprise.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, not so much a surprise, but a well done finish. An expected finish, but still well done.
Well, what I mean by surprise, I mean, yes, obviously there was going to be some sort of interference because that is the narrative they've been playing for the past 2 years, which is basically he can't really do shit on his own.
Right.
Right? But I think the person who interfered was the surprise because with Solo Sikoa, who they're finally acknowledging that he's an Uso.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they have been running from it in NXT ever since he debuted. I'm like, he is the most Uso-looking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, please just acknowledge the fact that he is related to them.
He looks more like the Usos than the Usos.
I agree with you 100%.
You know when somebody does like a Christopher Walken impression,
right?
And they sound more like Christopher Walken than Christopher Walken actually sounds? That's Solo Sikoa. It's
Sikoa, but okay.
Sikoa.
I'm
thinking. I started thinking about his grandfather, and
oh no, that's
Sikoa,
that's fine. But I do think that was a surprise on who it actually was.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Well, because he's been active on NXT for a while, so it was very random for him to have showed up.
Yeah.
But I kind of figured that somehow the Usos were going to figure a way out to. Because they were all barred from ringside, but you're like, come on. Someone's going to come out.
It was funny because Hensley did get mad, and he's like, They did the same goddamn thing that they've been doing for 2 years. Yeah, they barred the Usos, but you know what happened? Another Uso came down.
Listen, the WWE is goddamn lousy with Usos.
Just can't get rid of them, man. They're just everywhere. They're popping up like flies. Like you just, can't get rid of them.
Oh, wait till Jacob Fatu gets in the building because it's
Right.
going to happen.
I know. That's just
Where's Fat One?
Damn, David.
War.
But I do agree with you that is the route that they're going to take. Mm-hmm. That when Cody does eventually come back, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
When do you think that's going to happen? Because if we got to wait another half a year, 8 months.
I think,
before he
8
comes
months,
back.
I believe I heard was the latest, which I heard that,
That
2
was
weeks ago.
8 more months?
2 weeks ago I heard 8 months. So yeah,
Who else is he gonna? Who else is he gonna go against?
The Rock.
That's not till WrestleMania though.
Well, let me see. I mean, we're in September now.
It's in April,
yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
still a lot of time.
Still a lot of time.
When you have a pay-per-view every month.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I'd be fine with him going away again.
Me too.
I know people always complain because they complained about it with Brock Lesnar. He was the champion and wasn't on every pay-per-view or wasn't on every week, and people complained about that. But I honestly, if you're not going to do anything with them and you're just going to give them the belt, then why not just have him be home with his family for, a few weeks?
Well, the good thing is, now that we have, oh my God,
Solo Sikoa?
I'm fighting saying Sika. Now that we have him on the island of relevance, is that what he calls it?
Yes.
Misfit Toys.
I like that better. But yes, island of relevance.
Now that he has been acknowledged, we have our Survivor Series main event.
We do.
Yeah.
That's true.
So-
And that's 2 pay-per-views from now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I mean,
the next one is Extreme Rules.
Yes.
So you can, we can do a 4-way there. Mm-hmm. And Roman's gonna, he'll do the same thing that he did to Daniel Bryan and Balor, and just stack them on top of each other. And
Don't want to talk about it.
wasn't that terrible?
Don't wanna talk
Wasn't
about
that upsetting?
Yeah.
But this current match, what would you give this main event?
I mean, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
And the crowd was super hot.
Which helps, like you said, like 3.5.
I didn't quite go that high.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I did go 2.5.
Again, I always score a little bit higher than you do.
For the most part,
I
yeah.
have a little bit more lenience.
Yeah, we're syncing up though.
Yeah, we are.
It's a slow sync up.
It is, yeah.
I'm starting to give a little more. You're starting to pull it back a little more. It's
And pulling back is code for being more cynical, I guess.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So if you had to put your money on a workhorse of the evening, what would it be?
Before we do that, you forgot about one part. The end of the match. When
No,
Drew-
I didn't forget about
yeah.
that. No,
we got to mention it.
Do we though?
I think it was funny. I think it was really funny because
Barnes and Hensley just straight up left when that started.
so for people who don't know what happened,
I wanted to leave.
if you turned it off at the end of the match, then you are lucky. So you had Drew McIntyre was just standing in the middle of the ring, and Tyson Fury, who was there, also got
we forgot to talk about Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. Yeah, he knocked him out when he tried to come and cash in again.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but God damn it. For a professional fighter, Tyson Fury looks like somebody took fucking beige colored Play-Doh and threw it at a wall.
He does. He's, I agree with you.
100%.
He looks like me, kinda. Like he just kind of doughy.
Well, and
But
I think it didn't make sense.
but he
Why he was
destroyed Dante Wilder
Yeah, he did.
twice.
Which is great. Good for him. But also, I know that he was involved with WWE a little bit for a while. And, you know, it's cool if he's there, right? They're over in the UK. Like, it's very obvious, like, why he would be there.
Sure.
And even interfering with Austin Theory, that's fine. I think that's cool. But doing this whole singing in the middle of the ring, and we were just really confused about why it was American Pie, right? It's an
Yeah.
American song, and
There were no Americans in the ring.
No, not at
There were
all.
no Americans in the audience.
exactly.
There was no American anything under their feet.
So I was curious because I was like, is this a ritual done at the end of a fight or something like that over in the UK? I watch and follow a UK-based wrestling channel called Wrestle Talk.
Yeah.
They did a review of this. They had no idea why they did this.
Yeah.
They were just as confused as all of us were over here. So I don't know why. I don't know why you felt the need to end a really good pay-per-view with something like that, but yeah.
It was cringy as hell.
Yeah, and they just went off the air. Okay, bye. Good night, everyone.
So I had gotten up to go to the bathroom. As soon as it was over, I was like, all right, Chris, let's get out of here. I come out and Doggz and Chris are like staring in shock at the TV. And I'm like, oh God, what's about to happen? And I walk out and Tyson Fury's in the ring. And then he fucking starts singing. And so Chris and Doggz are both like, all right, well, obviously he's going to change up the lyrics, and there's going to be a beef.
Something,
There's going to be a beef between him and Drew.
Yeah,
and,
he's going to hit him and he's like, hey, I'm back, bitches, or, something like that. Yeah.
And then they hit the chorus, and McIntyre joined in, and I was like, Chris, let's go. I'm not sticking around for this. This is what the hap is fucking.
Exactly. And McIntyre kind of joined in a little bit. You can tell he was kind of like, I don't really want to sing this song.
Well, I'm just having fun right now. It's
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, that was Drew McIntyre.
Perfect.
I thought it was dead on.
Perfect. I love it. But to answer your workhorse question, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought we needed to address that.
Yeah.
Because that was really weird. I want to say Gunther.
I would have to agree.
Because
Gunther and Sheamus
it was going to be
tore it
between
down.
Gunther and Sheamus, but I felt like Gunther because Sheamus is a veteran, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he kept up with him and really went toe to toe with him the entire match.
He did.
And I know he's been working for a very, very long time on the indie, so it's not like he's not a veteran in his own right.
Right.
But Sheamus has been working in WWE for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And to see him be paired up with someone like Gunther, who is a little bit younger, and still have them have the match of the night, that's incredible. So I would say Gunther.
I'm gonna shock you on this one.
Oh.
My workhorse for the show is Bailey. Yeah.
Really?
She has been working on her heel thing for a very long time. And she hit her stride. She worked it perfect. Not only did she work her gimmick, but she commanded what was going on that ring the entire time. And if you go back and watch the match, and I encourage everybody to go back and watch the match, because it's a great match. But you can see her when things start to get weird. Who is talking? Bailey's talking. She's running shit in that ring, and she's holding her own, and I'm so proud of her.
Love to see it.
Now, so overall, I would give this pay-per-view, I want to give it I want to give it a 4.
I mean, I think that's appropriate. You gave 2 out of the 6 5s.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And I'm going to leave it at 4.
Yeah, I like 4. 4's good.
Now, Hensley, how we doing on time over there?
You're at almost an hour 10.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll save it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually do 20 questions
Right.
at the end, and the last time it took a
took
little bit longer.
Quite a long time.
Yeah,
That's-
so I think we'll save that for when we're not reviewing a pay-per-view.
You're right.
Yeah.
So and you and I are tied, I believe.
We are,
You,
yes.
you have 2 and I have 2.
No, actually, I actually reviewed the scores in my head. I have 2, you have 1. Kara has 1.
Well,
Yeah.
How do you figure that Kara has 1?
You know, I'm not going to get into it because
They're married, and what's hers is his, and what's his is hers.
That's
so.
a strong point, Hensley. I like the way you think.
I don't, and I think Kara will agree with me on this one, even though she's not here. I don't think that counts.
I do recall Kara helping you as well.
Yeah, but she didn't flat out win the game for me like she did for you. So
I can't help it that she threw out the exact answer that I was getting ready to say.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, okay, fine. Then we'll have to break my streak, later.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Hensley, tell us about it.
Because I think we're at the end of our wrestling content for a bit, right?
Oh God, I hope so. I said it on This Is a Takeover last night. I need these 2 companies in particular, but like every wrestling promotion out there, to never do 3 shows in the same weekend ever again.
Why?
It's ridiculous. It is. I mean, I feel for these people because we only review pay-per-views, right? Mm-hmm. There are some podcasts and channels out there that review every single thing that comes on TV, comes on pay-per-view, comes on, they do Dark. Mm-hmm. Some people do Dark where they watch.
Fuck that.
Right? So, I mean, for us to sit here and say, there's so much, I'm sure they're just please, we're dying out here.
Yeah.
But so this is 3 of 3 for the wrestling podcast this week. Next week, we're going to get back to our same old bullshit on Long Walk Talks. We're moving on to my perfect 10 picks after doing Stan's and Chris's for the last 8 months. So we're kicking off my perfect 10s discussion with, I know you're going to roll your eyes at this, Doggz, RoboCop.
I heard the eye roll. Did you hear it come through the mic? I heard it.
He and I have argued about this many times. He does not like RoboCop, and I think it's legitimately one of the best movies ever made.
Between RoboCop and Gremlins 2, this fucking guy calls himself a movie critic, and RoboCop and Gremlins 2. I have nothing further, Your Honor. Wow.
Oh. All right, so I guess it's just me for the rest of the show.
I guess so.
That was great. That was well timed.
Never forget who runs the board.
Never forget.
Shelby, if people want to reach out to you online and tell you why the CM Punk thing is a work, where can they do that at?
They can do that at Slay All Ray on Instagram. And if you want to do any of that for This Is a Takeover, you can follow us at @this_pod on Twitter and This Is a Takeover on Instagram.
Doggz, if people want to reach out to you online and tell you why the Punk thing is a shoot, where can they do that at?
Am I back up yet? No, I'm not.
No, you are.
Yeah,
You're
you
on.
are. You're back
I
in.
can't. Why are my cans?
Have you gone deaf?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, okay, there they are. There they are. I think there's a short in my headphones.
Sure, okay.
Well, if you would like to argue with me on this, you can do so at Immortal2Doggz on Twitter. I am starting to look at Twitter a little bit more, not really commenting other than to retweet something every now and again. But
I appreciate that.
If you want to argue with me, we can argue.
Yeah, do all your arguing with him. I'll just be like, hey, just refer you to Doggz over there, because I'm going to be like, no.
I always win because I always do the same thing. I was like, hey, you know what? if you want to think that that's your life, baby, you go right ahead. I wish you all the best. You can also get me on Instagram at David2DogsHayes, and you can get me on the TikTok, which is where I've been doing most of my discussions this week.
Yeah.
As far as the CM Punk thing's been going on. And that's at This Is a Work.
Nice.
Very nice. Well, if you want to tell me why I'm wrong, you can do that on Instagram at DBHensley. If you want to keep up with Long Walk Productions, you can visit us online at longwalk.us or search for Long Walk Productions and Long Walk Podcasts on Facebook. To see more of our original work or hear past episodes that are no longer streaming, you can follow the YouTube links in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoy this show or any of the shows on the Long Walk Podcast Network, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening on.
All right. Well, listen, this has been, once again, just another fun episode of This Is a Rewind.
Oh, just something that we decided to do on the fly that doesn't have anything to do with what the original premise of our show was supposed to be. But, wrestling has decided to dictate our topics for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to it next time.
We promise. We
got, we're heading into a busy season for us. We got mofos getting married, and we've got people renewing their vows and evacuating their bowels, and just
all the things,
all the vows and bowels.
Exactly.
And it's getting into the chaos season.
But we'll get you the content that you want. Don't worry.
Right. We'll start bringing back the old stuff.
Yes.
On the next go round. So, for David Hensley and Shelby Deathray Patterson, this is David Two Dogs Hayes saying, guys, it is fun looking back at the past, but live in the present. And as far as the future goes, we'll just call it in the ring.